What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another episode of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. We are doing another Fannounce Table here. We're doing it a little bit in advance from when we normally were recording our weekly episode because we got the time. We're doing it. We don't have the time, but there's no time for anything.
Time in the world.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We're so salty about that. We haven't recorded that yet, but hey, we'll talk about that. We'll plug it in a little bit. Who are we? I'm Tony Mango. Robert E. Felice is here.
Everything that we have ever done on this website builds up to this. We're finally doing it, guys. This is it.
It's happening. We are watching King of the Ring 1995 for this Fannounce Table. The reasonings why: number one, we needed some kind of a main event podcast for this week, and we couldn't figure out anything yet. And we didn't want to wait until after Raw to figure out what to do and then to record it on Wednesday. We figured we'd record something now, and this is something that's evergreen. We could just record it now, and it's not going to be that much different. Number two, King of the Ring has returned, so we wanted to kind of talk about King of the Ring in some fashion. And even though we already have the Champs Giving tournament that's going on right now, which go ahead and vote while you can on the semifinals, I think that we're on right now. Yeah, Macho King against Stone Cold and William Regal against Booker T. We got that going on, but we wanted to talk some more King of the Ring stuff. And we've talked Mount Rushmore King of the Ring type content in the past. We've done a lot of that, so we haven't done a Fannounce Table of it. But also number three, we talk about Mabel quite a bit because Mabel's just one of those easy people to kind of bring up as a joke and whatever. And
we talk about Mabel because I had noticed on the website, this is when I first started doing the podcasts, that you were very specific to say size differentials matter. John Morrison is not the same size as Mabel. And I'm like, that's so specific. Why are you naming Mabel and not Andre or Yoko or Big Show? Why Mabel? Why Mabel? And then it became Mabel. I got you a Mabel action figure for your birthday last year.
That's next to me on the desk. It's
Mabel is our guy.
Mabel's just one of those names that inherently Mabel obviously never had a huge career, but he was around forever, and he's just a name that, I don't know, he permeates that kind of ethos. So instead of just doing, we were going to potentially do 96, we were going to potentially do 93, and it's let's just do King Mabel. So we're going to watch this, and we're going to watch this on Peacock because that's the option that we have. So we recommend that you check it out on Peacock as well. It is 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 1 second. And even that 1 second counts as far as trying to line it up with us. So keep this in mind that what we do here is we say 3, 2, 1, play. And when we say play, we hit the play button on, I'm watching this on my, the app through the TV. You're probably watching this on the computer, right?
I'm watching it on the computer, yeah.
Yeah, so it should be the same all the way around as long as you're zeroed out.
Peacock has finally appeared on all platforms.
Yeah, thankfully.
They got there, guys. Yes, good job.
So that's how we're going to be doing this. As we always do, we can't give you the video feed on our YouTube page or something because it would be a copyright problem. So you're going to have to sync up that stuff. And you can either do that with the YouTube stuff, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or whatever, it's literally the same exact deal. Just 3, 2, 1, play. You hit play at the same time. As long as you're watching the same feed as we are, we should be relatively close, if not exactly on the same page. So, other things we'll plug and we'll talk about while we're getting this going. I'm ready to start. You ready, Rob?
Yep.
All right. So get yourselves ready because we're going to get this started in 3, 2, 1, play. I'm at 2 seconds. You're looking down at the city of brotherly love. So this is something that I should have gone to this event.
Really? Yeah.
Because
You're
this
in that
is
area.
The CoreStates Spectrum is what I had visited a couple times in the past, and this is right around my birthday. So I should have had back in this 1995. If my dad would have known or something, I'm sure he would have been yeah, I'll buy tickets and I'll take him there for his birthday kind of thing.
They're probably $30 for front row. You know what I mean? tickets were not that expensive back then. I love this logo, and it's Stephanie Wyan.
Yeah, you don't see much Stephanie Wyand. That haircut. Oh, we're getting the pre-show match. Cool. So before we get started, I want to remind everybody, leave a comment below. Tell us your thoughts on what's going on here. Chat it up, have some fun. Thought about doing this as a live one, but I was like, I don't think many people are really going to be wanting to jump on at 2:00 on a Sunday and watch King of the Ring 95. Maybe so. If that was the case, and if you would have been, let me know, because then we'll try to do some more of those live in the future. But
Hey, who's holding open the doors?
Is this when the Hardys were doing it?
Yep. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
So when I think Savio Vega, I think this Savio.
Oh yeah. What other Savio is there to think about?
Los Bariquas. Maybe the domination.
No, it's this.
Yeah, I think of the red shirt and everything. Like, Savio Vega was a guy that, in that time frame, in that bubble, I'm like, oh, he should probably be the next like Intercontinental Champion or so. And then, as you can eventually see with like our all-time roster stuff, Savio does get drafted.
Yeah. And I can promise you it was one of the two of us that drafted him, because Callum wouldn't touch him with a 20-foot pole.
And I will say this too, IRS does get drafted, and Razor Ramon does get drafted.
All by the same guy.
All by the same person. Which goes to show some people's preferences or certain things. And Ted DiBiase does get drafted by the same person.
There you go. This is IRS's last WWF pay-per-view match.
Oh, really?
He will be in WCW as Michael Wall Street by at least November, because he competes against Jim Duggan at the World War III pay-per-view.
That name is funny too, Michael Wall Street, because it's like he does kind of look like Michael Douglas and Wall Street and everything. So that's like, it's not a bad name for them to have gone with. We got full blown Vince McMahon here. I don't know.
Hey, look, it's Straw Hat Guy from ECW.
What's that?
Straw Hat Guy from ECW. He's in the front row.
Oh, is that a regular guy?
Yeah.
Like Vladimir or Sign Guy or anything?
It's a regular guy for ECW, but he wasn't usually at WWF events, especially in this era.
It's funny how that becomes a thing where it's like, that's Straw Hat Guy. There's Brock Lesnar guy that always wears that like army shirt. There's the Sign Guy, of course. There's the green shirt dude. That's usually next to the guy that's named Simon. Well, we kept calling Tully's.
He's not around anymore.
I saw the green shirt dude not that long ago, but I haven't seen the long-haired guy.
Doc Hendricks on commentary here.
Handsome Doc Hendricks. Yeah, your commentary, Spanish commentary team.
Hugo Samuels. I guess it's not. Yeah, there we go. Hugo Savinovich. I know that name.
Yeah, old school name. He got released in the last year or so, right?
Yeah, now he perpetuates weird conspiracy theories about WWE.
That was part of their whole like, let's just get rid of like everybody, even if they've been the company for like 30 years, like Mike Chioda.
Yeah, Tony Schimmel.
Yeah.
I heard from Brizongo on a podcast that he's working at a Trader Joe's now.
Really?
But it's fine. They have great benefits. Apparently that was like
an upgrade.
That's like I wouldn't know if it's an upgrade, but that's like a thing. Fort Lauderdale, Trader Joe's. Go look for Tony Schimmel. Make him say superstar in a squeaky voice.
Yeah. Superstar. He's like, welcome to the Trader Joe's supermarket.
I love stupid shit like that. Why did he need to wind up the punch like that? He
Right.
didn't.
Also, some housekeeping, whatever stuff in the meantime. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you share this with anybody that you think might be interested. You know, like it seems kind of weird to mention it, but some people every once in a while they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that I could do this." But like, I know that people have like Facebook groups that are like, you know, let's all talk about pro wrestling and whatever. Like we've got like the Mega Maniacs group and whatever. If you are part of that and you think that somebody might want to check out this, post a link on there. Go like, hey, look at this podcast I listen to. These guys have this watch along for King of the Ring 95 if anybody wants to put it on. That stuff can actually help out quite a bit. You never know. It can end up being 5-10 new people end up becoming fans of the website and stuff. So now we're getting with our commercial break type stuff.
I think that's less our commercial break and more just like the pre-show ended. I love that logo, by the way.
That is the best King of the Ring logo. I love the
best logos ever. Just like that's really good.
I love the blimp. Always loved that they had the little Zeppelin like flying around. I miss that. They should do that again, especially because like arenas have gotten bigger.
Well, I don't think people care as much about blimps anyway.
Fucking Doc Hendricks.
Look what we're watching in the main event, Tony. Diesel and Bam Bam against Sid and Tatanka.
Yeah.
Did I book this? Like
kiss my foot match for the
that.
first time ever.
Did you see the way he said it with such excitement?
Right. What's the difference? I mean, obviously wrestle more than once, but then that you just lose.
Well, Razor was actually hurt, and he's actually supposed to go the whole way, and he does not.
He was supposed to win.
He was supposed to no. He's supposed to drop it to Mabel, but like because the reality would have been Mabel beats who he beats, which we'll get to in a little bit, and then he beats. Hey, look, it's Jeff. And then he beats Razor, so he'd have beaten like the two top guys on his way to fighting Diesel.
Makes sense. Love Yoko. Love his theme too.
Every time I hear it now, though, I think of Jim Johnston being like, Yoko, I love Yoko, but like, he wanted a rap theme, and I'm like, no, you're a sumo guy.
He wanted a rap one?
Yeah,
that wouldn't have made any sense.
He was into rap, and he just wanted like, hey, this is actually who I am. Can I just not be a sumo guy? Can I just be a fat Samoan guy? Oh man, but we're getting some Lex Luger action on this. Oh,
who did he slap?
It's some flag bearer.
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy?
Hey, just some guy. Lex would have random guy, usually random kids, carry the flag for him. But I guess because it needed to take a bump, it was a guy. Beth Phoenix once carried the flag at a house show.
Oh, really?
I've heard her talk about that once.
Nice.
I'm a useless fountain of trivia. Like, Yoko gets drafted by the same guy. No, wait. No,
No, but Lex does.
Yeah.
So if you're counting Lex, Savio, Razor, Ted, and IRS all by the same person.
I never liked that particular vest for Razor. I never liked the ones that got too crazy.
Yeah. No, Razor Ramon for me is the purple and gold.
That perfect 5 o'clock shadow. It almost looks fake.
Yeah.
Tito Santana wants it.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're counting, that's the second time somebody said first time ever.
Look at the Hardys, man. With his short hair and everything.
Look at Matt with the short hair. Like, they look exactly the same in the face. They have not changed at all.
And there's no graphic here to indicate that this is footage of the pre-show.
Yeah, but they fucked that up because they just cut to it randomly.
Nowadays, it's, you've got like the little like when it like switches over, and then you've got the lower third and everything, and
I love Vince McMahon on commentary. He's so ridiculous.
He's going to wave the flag.
Why'd you got a smaller flag?
So you're a split second ahead of me. I was like, wait a minute, what smaller flag?
Yeah. Well, no, I just saw him like pick it up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's tiny, like.
Because he's a smaller guy. That's why.
Clearly. USA can't.
I love the pairing of Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji for Yokozuna. Because you get like, Fuji makes sense, and then Cornette's, his like...
He's the one that needs to cut the promo.
American handler kind of deal, like, this like slimy businessman that's kind of piggybacking off of it. He's very Lionel Hutz.
Yeah, oh, that's a great analogy. Realistically, if I saw this match, I'd be like, there's no way Savio's winning.
Right.
Because Yoko's been WWF champion.
Savio just wrestled.
Yoko's 600 pounds.
Yeah. Yoko's got a bigger flag.
And I'd realistically be like, okay, he could probably go on and face Taker if he needs to, face Shawn if he needs to, And
according to Vince McMahon a minute ago, you can't comprehend the girth.
I mean, that's not hyperbole, I bet.
Look at Kyoto's hair.
This isn't even like the best hair for Kyoto. Like, you go back to like maybe a couple of years before this, and he's just got the mullet.
Yeah, this is like he still wants to keep the mullet, but he's not fully committed anymore.
It's getting shorter.
Why are mullets coming back in some way?
No, they're definitely coming back. Look at Jim on the floor.
With the tennis racket.
Realistically, a man the size of Yokozuna should not be ducking. He should be catching him and slamming him to the ground and then sitting on his face. 1, 2, 3.
Pretty much, yeah.
Buddy Boy just crossed his arms. He wanted us to know that he was there.
Cornette's really hamming it up.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? You gotta keep yourself entertained out there. Hey, it's Owen.
Can't even tell what Owen's saying, but he's full-blown character, and it's great.
Why is he in a tuxedo? Like, you're on the phone. Ugh.
Did you see that footage of Undertaker chopping the guy recently?
Yeah.
Chops the guy falls right down. Yeah, the back of Razor's vest, I like that. It's just the front that I don't like. I think that weird pattern. But the bad guy part, that logo in the back, that's cool.
That's vintage Razor. I have shorts that have that on them. They're green.
I never liked the green one as much as the purple and gold.
The only thing I like about the green is that's his default attire in WrestleMania the arcade game.
Yeah. USA. Why are you chanting USA?
Well, he's a Latin American. He said he was an American. And Puerto Rico's a U.S. territory.
The geopolitics of all that stuff when it comes to Puerto Rico is a territory, but it's not a state, and it's like whatever. To me, I'm always just kind of like, well, it's not the United States,
Aren't they like in talks to become a 51st state?
I think they just don't want to make a 51st state, and it's like, well,
You'd have
then
to
just
change everything.
merge some of the other ones. Why do we need West Virginia, North and South Carolina, and Dakota? Just make one big ass Dakota,
But then, like, what about the South Dakota people? They were always fuck hell yeah, South Dakota.
Fuck them.
Well, that's the conversation I expected to have on this show.
A friend of mine lives in South Dakota. I'll just message her and be like, yeah, you're not South Dakota anymore. You are Dakota. Deal with it.
Okay, so Yoko has to lose this match by countout, right?
I can't imagine that.
There's no way he gets pinned.
Spit all over the place.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you get a guy like a Yoko in here, he either gets DQ'd or he gets counted out. In this era, he gets counted out.
If he goes
from the past 20
ring,
years, he gets DQ'd. Or if he doesn't get DQ'd in the modern era, somebody else he's feuding with comes in and interferes and forces a pinfall out of that,
Very curious to see how this ends.
Yoko
is huge.
I haven't seen this in God knows how many years. We're talking probably like 15 years.
Look at them. They're literally like both working the smallest punches. I love it. Nowadays it's like,
chop.
No, he's got to do a fucking 450. Like, this is working. Like, this is doing the least and making the most.
Back when people actually had some ring psychology and everything too. Gonna go for the leg drop and miss.
He shouldn't miss. Oh no! Well, now that
he's totally gonna miss.
I feel like he's gonna miss.
There you go.
Now can he pin him? Look at Cornette just leading them in a USA chant.
And then being like, no, don't chant USA. That's what I'm looking for. Like,
that's amazing.
That works.
It's like fucking pantomiming to these people. Like,
now's the part where you should be going, at least Savio. Yoko was always good with this whole I'm dawdling, and then I fall type of thing. He was great with that.
Whoa.
And then he gets him off his feet. Oh, the big man's down.
Oh shit, is he gonna pin him? I just finished.
And Cornette is great with the taking the bump. Every bump that Cornette takes with like the just one shot and then falling off the apron is always over the top like this. He's slipping backstage. Not backstage. To Owen South.
Oh shit! Yeah, it makes sense. That's his tag team champion partner. All right, here we go. He's gonna try to charge him and hit the post.
I can see that being the case.
Here we go.
They didn't even get the shot.
They didn't get the shot, but that's exactly what he did. Oh, look at that. It's like we watch wrestling.
And it's like, that's a good way of doing it. You save Savio from getting eliminated early, and you can tell the story of him going along the whole thing. He just wrestled a previous match, so it's he shouldn't be able to just pin Yoko. So you save Yoko from taking a pinfall and looking.
And they didn't milk it like, oh, he was out for 25 seconds.
Right.
Nope. The count was 8, 9, 10. That chick was looking to go home with one of the wrestlers.
The blonde one there? Blonde
Looks
one
like
in the
it to
black
me.
dress?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like eyeing up the bad guy. They call you the bad guy, but you're gonna be good for me.
Ayo. Oh.
Lawler's so good. For sock abuse.
What's with the giant feet? Do you see the giant feet?
The giant feet? What do you mean?
Look, if they show it again, look to the side of Lawler. There's like 2 giant feet.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, you see it? Like they're giant feet.
Oh, we get the man here, Double J.
That's right, Jesse James.
By the way, Double J and Road Dogg drafted by and Jerry Lawler. Oh my god. Wow. And Doink the
God, this person really had like a specific taste.
I had that figure for Road Dogg. The white with the black.
Me too, but he was already in DX by the time I got it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they were like, let's just do the Roadie thing, even though DX was full blown how it was.
Years later.
See what I mean when I say that Double J is pretty much Honky Tonk Man plus Ric Flair. He does the strut. He does the what's it called?
Oh shit! Hold on. Yeah, Dr. Richards. Yes. Give him the belt.
Also drafted.
Well, thankfully that person didn't pick up Mantar.
This theme is such shit. Good old Thurman Plug. How the hell will you name this guy Thurman Plug?
Sparky Thurman Plug.
Like, Thurman?
Wow, this was 6 weeks ago.
Speed up the action here. This hair for Road Dogg is terrible.
Jesus Christ. Wow, they're really trying to win.
The cornrows. He can't drive well. Is that a woman with the black dress that we were talking about? Was she just like walking around back there? I guess she's like trying to figure out another spot for her to get noticed.
I don't see her anymore, so she might be.
Oh, it's a different woman with blonde hair and a black dress.
A woman.
And if you're enjoying this, by the way, everybody, make sure that you directly sponsor things like this in the future. If you want us to do more, you can do that through the Patreon or YouTube members only versions of the Pick Your Poison tier. So if you're like, yeah, I do want them to watch, some more 95 content or to dive deeper into some other Fannounce Table type things.
What you need to do is just, there's the $1,000 tier. I need you to donate to it and just tell us what to do. We'll do pretty much all of it as long as you're giving as much as you possibly can.
But $1 goes a long way as well. So, take that into account, everybody. The more people that do that, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. If everybody that was subscribed to this YouTube channel alone, if everybody donated $1 a month, we would be doing so much more content, and we would be able to do better content because we'd have better equipment. I'd be able to set up these guys with hey, I'll get you a good webcam and whatever. We would have a lot of stuff going on like that. $1 a month. Just keep it in mind. As I say that, I get an email about some kind of a wedding donation.
Good, a positive. Okay.
So that's good.
Was it a donation money-wise, or was it
Yeah, money donation.
Okay.
Remember, there's the wedding fund, everybody.
The World Wrestling Wedding Fund.
I really wanted to do wedding fund, WWF, wrestling wedding fund. I wanted to do something like that, and it's just been too crazy. If Carolyn
was more into wrestling, I think you could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
come on.
Look at these breaking it down.
If by any chance anybody is, just for the sake of it, if you are interested in popping up on that registry, I put it up on the channel update video for anybody who's interested. Just saying, But there's Patreon and there's other things. There's TeePublic and Redbubble. Pick them up.
If you don't want to donate to their, if you can't donate, just send them some mangoes. I think Tony would really appreciate the pun of just being showered with mangoes.
I'm more of a pineapple guy.
That's the biggest twist on the show.
I'm sure around this time frame, I probably thought that Bob Holly would be the next Intercontinental Champion too.
I think he had done some stuff with Double J. Oh shit! Oh. I kind of like stuff that's a little sloppier.
So a little bit more believable, right?
Yeah, they really look like they're scrambling.
Dance it again. Spend my days working hard on the go. Foot on the rope, good.
He didn't do the knee drop?
Yeah, damn, knee in the back.
This is rest hold city, bro. Roadie's doing rest holds. Holly's just going for pinfall attempts. Powder.
And this was an era where reversing a pile driver attempt into a back body drop got people to pop.
Well, yeah, pile drivers are finishers.
Oh, they're like, he reversed it. Bah! Now that move's probably like, oh my god, I've never seen this before.
From Holly.
Wouldn't do that in the future. Becomes a total brawler and everything.
I got an idea.
Great story with the whole thing. That he would just do that all the time. If anybody doesn't know, that's on Something to Wrestle With. Bruce Pritchard's talked before a couple different times about how Bob Holly would always be like, hey, I got an idea. Give me the belt. And then they'd be like, well, then what? And he's like, then I beat everyone. I love the idea that Bob Holly's backstage, and it's like anytime he gets any kind of a chance to get in the ear of creative, he's just like, "Hey, give me the belt," you know.
It works for some people. Like
Oh, that's
Bradshaw.
Vladimir clapping right then. That's
Oh,
Vladimir,
yeah,
right?
yeah, with the blue shirt.
Yeah.
God,
That was cool
they
that
need to
they did
release
that little special where
documentary.
they were, Vladimir the Superfan thing. That's cool. We should have more stuff like that on the network. Oh, we should still have the network. The network's like so dead. You know?
Yeah.
They don't release they don't do anything anymore.
And that's a shame because they were ahead of the curve. They were legitimately like ahead of the curve on everybody. Nobody had a direct service for their fans.
But like they don't produce anything. They do, it seems like once a month they do a Stone Cold podcast. There's no documentaries anymore. There's no,
even the ones that they haven't like released. They had one on the Bulldog.
that was weird.
Oh, that didn't look right.
Talk about sloppy things, yeah.
Wow.
The 5 on Holly's trunks is like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice. All right, the next two matches are the matches.
Now we get our stupid Peacock commercial break thing. So this is Shawn post. I don't ever want to hear about Shawn Michaels being a babyface.
Yeah, no, we're full babyface.
Yeah.
He really could have been the Heartbreak King, and I think we missed out on that opportunity.
Oh, that could have been cool. So this isn't my like ideal Shawn Michaels.
It is outside of the entrance gear.
It's getting close to it, you know, like. But I don't. My Shawn Michaels doesn't keep the sunglasses, for instance. You know.
I think this is the last time he would.
Top angle, just the shit-eating grin.
Oh man, we missed out on Kama. Oh, he's destroying a Black Reef.
Kama and Shawn Michaels drafted by the same person.
That's correct, actually.
We've discovered a very distinct pattern here. Duke the Dumpster Drosy not drafted by the same person.
Not drafted by anybody, spoilers.
Nor King Kong Bundy. I do like, to a certain extent, I do like Supreme Fighting Machine Kama Mustafa.
He's like my favorite.
Who is this dude?
He's a creature of the night.
It's getting some Pink Floyd in there.
This is the weirdest thing. They cut his entrance.
Yeah. Just like 30 seconds into it. And he has a different hat.
They cut his entrance too. What happened here?
That's really strange.
I want to see like a pay-per-view copy of this. This is what happened there.
Yeah, they cut that part out, and he has a different hat on and no sunglasses.
He must have given the hat to a fan, I'm sure, and taken the hat.
I don't think he gave the hats away.
It's very weird.
Maybe they told him like, "Hey, why don't you wear this King of the Ring hat in the meantime, or whatever." Of course, now they pictures all the girls trying to get the pictures of Shawn. Everybody talks about the whole, the Attitude Era doesn't start until Stone Cold. I mean, Shawn Michaels was pushing the boundary.
I never bought that. I actually think like the Attitude Era starts here because you got Goldust.
Goldust really pushing the boundary. I mean, Supreme Fighting Machine Kama, look, it's not the best gimmick in the world, but you tweak a couple little things, that dude could have won a couple more championships and stuff, you know? Because realistically, I mean, like, Charles Wright's fucking big. And he ended up being employed by this company for decades.
Well, yeah, but he was also like stuck on that Godfather gimmick, which was a fun gimmick, but like this could have been a world champion.
And they made the right call making him in the Nation of Domination as one of those guys too. Like, despite that kind of took him in a different direction and he became less of a big deal, the Kama Mustafa Supreme Fighting Machine thing they didn't capitalize on, and you needed to kind of move things around a little bit. Putting him in the Nation of Domination kept him relevant to the point where he could switch over to the Godfather and whatever. But yeah, like this incarnation of this character in a different time frame with some different ring gear, he's not that far off from just like fucking Mr. T, you know?
What does Kama stand for?
Was it kick any man's ass?
There you go.
I think.
Kick any man's ass. Can you imagine?
Now, what does Mustafa stand for? Much umami seafood tastes always fresh. Interests. Was that King of the
Dark Side? Because Undertaker's in the tournament.
You have King of, and then you have the all big, and then I ran out of room for Dark Side. People should recognize the referee.
Screamed at Kama that you're no Mike Tyson.
Huh. So the other day we recorded a Halloween Havoc
93.
watch along that you guys will be able to hear around Halloween that we're going to post. You'll be listening to this beforehand too, because we're posting this pretty much like right out of the gate and not waiting for the Darkcast thing. The other thing's the Darkcast. So again, you can only get access to that on Patreon or whatever. But there is somebody during the crowd that starts just making some weird noises in there.
Whoop, there it is.
There's that too.
Whoop, there it is. Ooh, that was good.
This is a good matchup. Like, Kama's a big deal right now. Shawn Michaels a big deal. Like, this makes sense.
You don't need like a really big story for them.
What's the equivalent of this nowadays?
I would put Shawn in the category of someone like maybe like a Damian Priest against a Sheamus. We've seen that a lot, but
yeah, that is a really good one.
Because like in the actual tournament, you got like Kofi versus Jinder, which style-wise kind of maps out to this. Straw Hat Guy is just like going off on Kyle.
Yeah, he's deep into it. Doing the fuck you thing and everything.
And he's like, he knows, he gets it. He goes to ECW shows. I always like when Vince McMahon says certain things, like Smoking Joe Frazier.
Smoking Joe Frazier does not want to close his mouth. He's just in awe of what's going on. That haircut for Kama.
I like
Pretty
it.
bad.
I like it. It's different. Maybe you shave the sides, but leave them with the flat top.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the haircut.
What's the referee's name, Tony?
It might.
That's right.
And there's like, I mean, yeah, this isn't the most flamboyant match compared to things nowadays, but I think if you showed this match to somebody,
it holds.
And like, yeah, it holds up. It's not like this is like the super old school type of thing where everybody's pretty much just doing regular holds and it's like, oh, he hit him with a side suplex and that's the big spot of the match. You know what I mean?
By God, he hit him with a back elbow.
Yeah. Or like a belly to belly takedown. And people are like, did you see that Bob Backlund did a takedown? You know? I'm just not big on that really old school era. I can't watch like a Bruno match. I've tried. Not my
We're
thing.
gonna get it more into that when you hear the fantasy drafts.
Yeah, I'll spoil that. I did not draft Bruno San Martino,
but he did get drafted.
I did not draft a Straw Hat Guy either.
I wouldn't draft any of the famous fans. Maybe Clown Guy because Noel Foley.
I'd draft Aubrey Edwards. Make her ref.
I would sign off on that.
Worked out for AEW, right? For anybody who doesn't know, Aubrey Edwards is she's seen crying on Daniel Bryan's "I Need to Retire" speech,
and now she's wrestling his matches.
Crazy, right?
His matches. It's wrestling is so awesome sometimes.
It's so like I don't know, coincidence. It's whatever, but like instances like that are the types of things that make me go, I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for things.
Yeah, like life isn't so bad.
I mean, it is, but
yeah.
I'm also curious how many, like, how close people are when they keep hearing these jokes that I make that are like, well, you gotta laugh or else you're gonna cry type jokes, where people are like, I'm getting close to the point where I'm gonna be like, hey, Tony, what the hell? You know? Every so often I'll get a thing like, hey, we're looking out for you, bud. Like that kind of thing.
Oh, that.
And I appreciate that because you guys are awesome.
Yeah. Thankfully, you're receptive to those things, Tony.
Well, it's almost as if, like, when people are nice, that it's something you should be thankful for and appreciative of, and good things are good, and mean what you say and say what you mean, and all the other phrases we keep saying a million times. You think that they would be tempted these days to have somebody that like teams up with Kama in the women's division named Kawa?
No.
Kick any woman's ass?
Oh, good, very good.
Kawa Mustafa. Now you do the whole push down. Textbook
Great.
stuff. Rougeau was another one that got released, right?
Yeah, but he had come back randomly. I love Vince on commentary. That's so cheeky. In any language, it spells trouble.
One person with this air horn. They waited until now to bring out the air horn.
But that one woman who's like doing the shrieking at Halloween Havoc. It's weird how it's like people react no matter what in this time.
And you're not hearing chants that are like, let's try to take over and make it about us.
Not yet, but you're gonna hear ECW chants at some point during the show, I'm sure.
But yeah, there's not like that they're in a
It's
rest
not like,
hold
"We
and they're
are
chanting
awesome,"
for
yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter or something, you know?
Yep.
Almost didn't make that. Almost didn't turn around in time.
Nice. Good match.
Solid, yeah. And based off of the bracket, I'm sure I would have been like, okay, well, Shawn's gonna move on. It's gonna be like we could get like, well, it would have been heading into the bracket. I would have been like, okay, Shawn versus Yoko could be a thing.
Shawn versus Mabel too. But at this point, like Undertaker didn't lose, so I'm thinking it's Undertaker, clearly because they've been building this feud.
That's right. Yeah, they do have the whole thing with that. That
And then
makes
I
more
would probably
sense.
think, maybe Undertaker Yoko in the finals.
Which makes sense because they've had their feud. King of the Dark Side makes sense too. One of the things that Undertaker didn't accomplish in his career.
He clearly didn't need it though.
Nah.
He didn't accomplish a lot in terms of like accolades. He only really won the world title. He won the tag team titles like a few times as the American Badass, but
And Royal Rumble.
really, yeah. But how old was he when he won the Royal Rumble?
Right. And he main evented WrestleMania more than once. But no, no Money in the Bank, no Intercontinental Championship,
no European, no like, no real significant tag team title run.
nope.
Hook a leg on a big man, Tony.
I miss the time limit. I don't know why WWE stopped doing it. I don't know why they can't look at AEW and see how useful it is and not still do it. It's just such a useful thing. Like, we know that Monday Night Raw is 3 hours long.
$30.
And it's like, you protect both these guys, you know?
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Curious if they're gonna do the pinfalls just at like the 5-second mark or something. Yep.
I like that Shawn was smart enough to immediately react. Like, ah, fuck, time expired.
And bullshit. See, like the Attitude Era, he's mouthing to the camera. That's bullshit. And you send the people home happy. He hits sweet chin music anyway. It's that simple. You got yourself one less match on your pay-per-view card.
Because Mabel goes right to the finals.
And it gives Mabel more heat. Because then he didn't have to wrestle another time. God, it's that goddamn simple.
And the person is going to have to wrestle way more, as you'll see.
You know what that look was very reminiscent of? Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Stridex indoor airship.
You ever use Stridex pads?
Thankfully, never had to.
Really, no acne on you, huh?
I mean, I've had acne, but never like an acne problem. It's always just been like a rogue pimple once in a while. But never like, oh man, I've got like acne going on and I need to treat it. It's, you know, a bunch of pimples in a row or any of that. I got lucky. Undertaker versus Mabel. There's Atom Bomb. You'll hear about Atom Bomb all that much.
This gets like a weird video package. Like, full on music and everything.
Three Mile
Atom
Island.
Bomb not drafted.
Mo, though. Imagine if that was the case.
That's a huge match for this time period.
Yeah, you got Intercontinental Champion, World Champion, you know. Not that Taker was World Champion, but you know what I mean. That's the type of match that they would do on something like Main Event for the first episode and then never do it again, you know?
Yep.
I wonder how many people still have those King of the Ring hats. WWF plus Philly is a winning tag team.
That's so cute. Look at their dad just like, yeah.
Nah. Yeah, the mom and the dad are just sort of like, yeah, go ham it up in front of the screen, Billy and Jimmy. They look like one of them could be a Billy. I don't know about Jimmy. Right. Maybe it's like Billy and Bobby. Weird fucking gimmick.
Amazing.
Yo, that looks fucking good. Look at that. That looks good.
Oh, that looks real good.
Forgot what it was.
Yeah, he did. Totally.
Why did they keep that in there? Why did they not cut that out?
This is the best connection.
Great. Fucking great.
How could you not want him on your fantasy team?
That's great. Ah, I am the French. I'd be mad. I want that Philly cheesesteak.
Honestly, why him?
Why not? Yeah, it's. Oh wait, we're actually gonna get an interview for this. Pretty Stephanie. You know, this is just a taste of what he would do in the future with Lillian Garcia.
The world's largest love machine. Viscera.
Mo sucks. Oscar was worse, but Mo, like, never liked Mo. I mean, let's be honest, Mabel sucked in a lot of ways, but that's, Mabel's got something to him.
That's weird. Mo tried to hold open the ropes for Mabel, and Mabel was like, what are you doing? I need to go over them.
Despite the fact that I bring Mabel up all the time, I never thought that Mabel was somebody who should have been, like, held in high regard. He was just...
but who would? We just he's there.
He was never somebody that I was like, oh, that big man should be like, give him a belt or whatever. Not the same as, like, I've, said in the past, like, Vader and Braun Strowman and Umaga and, some other big men that, like, when Kane only had a 24-hour title reign, it was like, oh, come on, give Kane a real title reign. Thankfully, he got it. Mabel was never one of those guys. I was never like, oh, Viscera should be pushed. But I can understand why he was a part of the roster. I can understand why they tried to do something with him. I just never would have given him King of the Ring. I think you have some other options here that would have made more sense.
You know what kills me is 95 is such a weird year. Every heel who was featured means nothing by WrestleMania. There's no Kama, there's no Mabel, there's no Sid, there's no Tatanka, there's no... Like, every heel that was featured means nothing.
By the time you get to WrestleMania 96?
Yep.
Yeah, because 96, you got, like... It's headlined by two baby faces. Diesel's on his way out, and he's the heel. You've got this random Piper and Goldust thing, which was supposed to be Razor
Right there.
and Goldust. And you've got Ultimate Warrior squashing Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It's just odd.
Weird.
Like, if we were to have been doing Smark Out Moment back then, and I were to do things like how I usually try to predict WrestleMania a year in advance, in 95, even if I'm around SummerSlam time frame, I'm thinking, okay, well, they're gonna do an Undertaker match. It's gonna be Undertaker against somebody like a Mabel, and there's gonna be, assuming that this is prior to King of the Ring, I'm probably getting Razor Ramon in the Intercontinental Championship picture, and he's probably fighting somebody like Kama. Does that make sense, right?
Yep.
Kama Mustafa moves on. He wins the Intercontinental Championship, and he ends up relinquishing it to Razor at WrestleMania. I'm thinking Shawn in some kind of a singles match against like maybe Jeff Jarrett. That's just like a feud. Owen and Yoko could probably be tag team champions, and they're fighting. Who would be a part of the roster right now? Let's see. Try to bring up the 95 roster.
Probably Smoking Guns.
95 WWF roster. I mean, you get into like there's Davey Boy Smith, there's Ahmed Johnson, there's
Fun fact, this would lead to a feud with Mabel later in the year. And this is Undertaker's last, hey, let's just put you against a big guy, thanks, take, for quite a while. Because after this, after Mabel, he fights Diesel. And then after Diesel, he fights Foley. Because again, by 96, none of these guys matter. Jump.
the jumping clothesline.
I thought he would, but he didn't.
Is this prior to when you can start calling it going old school?
Because this is just old school.
Going modern day.
Take a bump, motherfucker.
So if this website's correct, Justin Hawk Bradshaw is on the roster as Johnny Hawk.
He must be doing darks.
So John Layfield as Johnny Hawk becomes Justin Hawk Bradshaw, becomes Bradshaw, becomes John Bradshaw Layfield.
I really like the John Bradshaw Layfield character.
Not so much for me in some ways, but I like it in some other ways.
I will admit, like, it was definitely my first experience to, like, I think they're in trouble because Eddie Guerrero and Bradshaw are wrestling for the main event all of a sudden. Whereas, like, you know, as a kid, you realize this isn't of the stature of, like, Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. What's happening here?
Yeah. Power and Glory, or not Power and Glory.
The Allied Powers, yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Oh god, what's the name of the Luger and Bulldog team?
The Allied Powers.
Allied Powers, yeah. How far are we from when they were a thing?
They are still a thing at this point. And they'll get a tag title shot the next month at In Your House. And then Bulldog would turn on Luger shortly after.
Because that could be a WrestleMania thing prior. Like, if I'm like, okay, well, where are we leading? You get Bulldog and Luger against Owen and Yoko. Like, that could have been a WrestleMania thing if they would have been able to stretch that out.
Well, unfortunately, they didn't sign Lex Luger.
Let me see about the 96 roster. Only a couple more people added into the mix between that.
If you want to see us break down the 95 roster, we did that on the Darkcast.
Leaf Cassidy.
New Rockers, baby.
Awful. Did not like the New Rockers.
I think it would have been fine, right, if you didn't call them the New Rockers.
They've just been another tag team. Yeah. Because it's like Al Snow was not the right fit for that. Al Snow is Al Snow.
Yeah, but Al Snow doesn't know who Al Snow is at that point.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't you be able to tell just right out of the gate that he's not that? Do some test run on some house shows and then go like, yeah, it's not working.
Well, he wasn't working as Avatar.
Yeah, it's true. Paul Bear, so over the top. Love Paul Bear. What a great name.
This is back when they were like putting effort into things. Like Paul Bearer as the Undertaker's manager. Like that's fucking genius.
Sir Mo.
I'm telling you, Sir Shanky, King Jinder. Sir Shanky. King Jinder. A lot of purple in 95.
Yeah, it's true. You got Undertaker wearing the purple stuff. You got Mabel, a big
Razor wore a lot
purple
of
grape.
purple all the time.
The purple and the purple and gold too. Like we were just talking about that with Razor was purple and gold, and then you got Mabel purple and gold here.
Like you don't usually think about that, you know?
But I do like the purple and gold with the whole King Mabel thing because those are regal colors, you know.
And those were already his colors. Like he was
right. They would get much more heavily tattooed.
Yeah.
Eventually, he would have Sarah on his neck.
Poor guy.
Don't get neck tattoos, people. Cody.
So just don't get tattoos of your like significant other. You never know how it's gonna go.
I'm very much don't get tattoos, period, type of guy. It's just my thing. I don't like tattoos. It's cool if anybody else gets them. I don't care. But I can't think of a single thing that I would ever want to tattoo on myself.
Not even like a wedding date.
Nah, I remember what the date is. You know, I wouldn't need to have it on my skin.
Does Caroline have any tattoos?
Nope. I'm glad about that. That's just personal preference. I'm sure plenty of people are going to be like, "Oh, you don't like tattoos?" No, I don't like them, but I also don't like. I don't change my hair. You know, I've had the same hair color other than, well, I mean, the fact that I get gray hair now like crazy, but technically speaking, I've only had 2 hair colors in my entire life: black and silver. Just because I'm having this white hair and spraying it silver for some play stuff in high school, like playing an old man. I've had like 5 haircuts in my entire life. Just keep getting the same haircuts, you know? Not like 5 literal haircuts, but 5 like styles, you know?
My hair changes quite frequently. I don't do like any like mohawks or anything, but you know, the length can change and it always changes the face very overtly.
I remember being really upset when I was a kid one time and they cut my hair too short and I was like, I look like Forrest Gump. Which we did a fan tracks of Forrest Gump. For anybody who's interested, if you want to watch that movie and listen to our commentary on that, go to fanboysanonymous.com. While you're over there, like and share and favorite and follow and subscribe and donate to the Patreon and all the same stuff. You know how this works, you know. Check out the Review to a Kill series too, where we're talking about the James Bond stuff. Yeah, fuck that. If that guy gonna land on you, oof.
Including No Time to Die, which Yeah.
We'll be
We'll
recording
have
that
thoughts.
tomorrow.
We'll have thoughts.
We'll be arguing with Callum about that tomorrow.
Unless he's changed his mind. Who knows?
That was a loud smack.
I hear this card get a lot of flack, but it's perfectly serviceable.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't bad. I mean, yeah, this isn't going to be some great all-time, every match is
A ref bump,
kind of
you
thing.
say? This is a rarity back in those days.
The booking is pretty solid. The matches are okay.
Flying clothesline. There we go.
Do you ever able to pick him up for Tombstone?
Fuck no.
Because he's picked up some big guys,
Not that big.
He's given Mark Henry a Tombstone before, right?
Yeah, but Mark Henry's probably lighter than Mabel.
Yeah, Mark Henry's lighter, but I mean, he's still pretty damn big.
And Taker's stronger, and oh shit, it's Kama. It's Kama.
One kick.
And that does it, folks. That is all it takes. Well, really, that is probably all it takes. I mean,
they could have done more than that one kick.
You want a fun fact? It's the first time Undertaker's been pinned since 1991 when Hogan beat him for the world title, and it's only the second time Undertaker's been pinned on TV.
You would have thought that the crowd would have been a little bit more like, oh shit about it. Yeah, that should have been, Kama should have hit him with some kind of a weapon, like the chain or something.
Get a chair. Oh, it's another ECW regular, that long-haired dude on the side there.
I didn't see him.
One day, Tony, Undertaker and the guy holding the door on the left are going to have a ladder match for the world title.
And one day, Undertaker and the guy holding the door on the right are going to have that match on the big premiere of Main Event. Or was the Superstars? Matt Hardy and Undertaker? It's one of those two.
The first Superstars.
So if they were to do the indoor airship these days, based on the amount of promotional stuff that they have, is it KFC? Is it
Subway, maybe.
Subway? Yeah, some here and there. What are some other things that tend to?
That C4 energy they've got going on right now.
That's good.
It's like Bray Wyatt.
Smoking guns with the mustaches and stuff.
Hey, Undertaker looks kind of human.
Right. Razor being the good guy, Razor Ramon.
Yeah. That's nice. Cancelled.
I'm trying to see if there's people in the background that are like, oh, that's that person, that's that person. Pedro Morales.
That's so weird.
To Hall of Fame, totally different these days.
Totally different. Why are you showing the Spider Lady moment? Like,
Yeah. George the Animal Steel, crazy character. What? What?
what the hell?
What the hell?
It's not bad. Doesn't get drafted. Just so you know.
Ivan Woodsky, no, not drafted. Bill Murray, not drafted.
I don't
So,
know what he's
what's the
saying.
fascination with some people at the Hall of Fame wanting to sing?
I don't know.
Because there's multiple examples of people that are like, I need to sing something.
Including the one sitting right there.
You got that. You got Pat Patterson.
I did it my way.
I guess it's just people that are really big into like karaoke, and they think that that's just like one of the most fun things.
Karaoke's. What is this? Why are you showing like that's what you got for a Titantron for Savio?
Right.
Just like a Bronx, like
The slums kind of thing.
the fuck? You couldn't just put a graphic with his name out?
Yeah. How many toothpicks do you think Scott Hall used to go through in like a month?
Oh, he probably just bought like a pack of like hundreds.
Wonder if he had like a favorite brand. Or you know what I could see him doing? Anytime he goes to like a diner, he just takes like the whole thing of it.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to learn. Like, how'd you work the system there?
Because there's usually like, 20 things there. If you have like 2 per night,
I don't know.
he goes one time to a diner, he takes a whole bunch of them off of somebody, and suddenly he's got toothpicks for the next couple of weeks.
Damn
Probably
right.
never fucking bought any.
Wow, Vince just calling the Road Dogg a dork. Like,
You're gonna be a big fan of him in a couple of years, Vince, when they're making you a lot of money.
won't be such a fan of Jarrett though.
Nah.
Hey, it's Chimmel.
Clouds around. Plug wire? Bob Plug Wire Holly? What the fuck?
Bob Plugwire Holly.
Plug wire.
How do you feel about this? We liking the show so far. I actually think it's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. All things considered. Could use a little bit more plug wire Holly though.
Well, I got an idea. Give him the belt.
Then he'll plug all the wires.
See, that's something that would have pissed us off today.
What, peppering the forehead?
No, the idea of, like, hey, you got a pay-per-view here. Why wouldn't Savio just face Double J at the pay-per-view?
Instead of the Roadie?
No, because he's fighting, they said he's going to fight Double J for the IC title on Raw.
Oh, yeah. By the way, it's interesting that he was just peppering him with those punches. You could say that he was assaulted, but that would be the opposite.
Very proud of you, Jay.
Yay, somebody's proud of me. Bum, bum, bum. Savio scene. Just stop. Why is he talking about? Oh, okay, yeah, because it's Philly. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he just talking about Rocky? Savio Vega here fighting the Road Dogg. I'm a big fan of Rocky series. Starts getting into some random tangents. He's
Do you like the Rocky series? Would you watch, like, you know how we watched all 25 Bond films? Did you watch all 7 Rocky films?
I wouldn't rewatch them, but it's weird. The Rocky series, I think I might have talked about this before. I don't think individually the Rocky movies are as good as they are as a collective series.
I understand that.
But I have a lot of respect for the Rocky series for the way that they've balanced out story, because it seems like every movie, even if the execution's not the best, there's a reason for the movie. Like, it's not just, hey, we're doing a sequel, we're just going to kind of hit the same marks and nothing's going to change. Like, there's always a progression. Certain characters will die and get replaced with other characters, and then that leads into something. And when you start off with, like, it's a story of Rocky and Apollo Creed, and you get to the point where it's Creed being trained by Rocky against Drago's kid, you're like, well, goddamn, full circle for a lot of things, you know?
You know, I really only know Rocky for Thunderlips, Mr. T, and Eye of the Tiger. I wouldn't mind actually going through the series.
There's a lot of parts that don't hold up. Like, there's the robot, you know? Happy birthday, Polly. Stallone still got the turtles, though.
He had a really good career.
All things considered, yeah. The Italian Stallion.
Like, he just stayed a top guy.
I got my career talking like this.
He ever just, like, talk to Schwarzenegger, just like,
Yeah.
Just like, I'd like to see them have a podcast for an hour.
Man, if Schwarzenegger in particular had a podcast, I'd listen to that for sure. Because that dude on commentary is great. He's always just like, this is the part where I do this thing in the movie. Then I just did the part. The joke here is that I talk funny. He admits it on something. I forget what it is. But he literally, on something, he's like, the joke is that I say things with a funny accent. And you're like, yeah, he gets it.
See, that wouldn't happen today. Because they go anal about the whole, you gotta cover up. You gotta look like you're defending yourself.
Yep, shouldn't have danced.
I always like when they know they're gonna miss and they just do a big dive so they can make sure like they're as safe as possible.
Straw Hat Guy is not as enthused as he was before.
A couple of years ago, they would have been chanting "Whoop, there it is" for Savio.
Yeah.
Whoop, there it is.
Which is like, now that we've established that Woot, there it is, and Whoop, there it is, are both about asses. Just women's asses. Why chant it during this? Yeah.
It started out as that way, and then it just became, I'm excited about something. Whoop,
Yeah.
there it is. Ref, where did you go?
Gotta knock Jarrett off.
There we go.
Good little moment. Bum, bum, bum.
Vince getting all dramatic for a fucking pinball.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, Savio would have to wrestle 4 times. Mabel's wrestled once. The idea would have been Mabel beats Taker, Mabel beats Razor. He's a made man against Diesel.
Builds him up to the point where you think, oh, Mabel's going to win that championship. And all the Caribbean. Like, can I start? Can I start? Can I start? Yeah. See, something as simple as this. Hendrix isn't ready to go, so they take a couple seconds for him to go over, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna translate. WWE doesn't even bother to do that anymore. They just cut to backstage, and the people are just standing there ready to go. And it's Sarah Schreiber going, I'm standing here talking to the whatever person. I'm going to pitch you your question, and then I'm going to stand and stare and look at you while you look at the camera. And then you're going to walk away, and then I'm going to stare off
blankly.
to watch you leave. I hate it. This is so much more organic.
Why are they allowing Doc just to fuck with them?
And they're not even finishing the rest of the interview. That's an ugly crown. That's cheap as shit.
Listen, they were running low on money in 1995.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's quite the graphic.
Brett's so fucking corny. Oh, you're slime ball. That's, yeah, because you're a heel. I don't want to like curse or anything.
It's the Coliseum exclusive. I hope we still get to see the vignette.
Despite the fact that Brett's corny as shit and that
It's believable.
Like, he's not the flashiest and all the other kind of things that goes along with that. He doesn't cut the best promos in the world. Brett's still just like, he's so good.
It's a great promo. I still want to see the vignette.
I guess we don't get a vignette thing. What's the
Oh,
vignette you were talking
man.
about?
Where you could see like everything leading up to this match, so we could see they've been feuding for 2 years.
Yeah, wow, 2 years. Starts at King of the Ring 93. That's right.
By the way, this is just a one-on-one match, and there's no DQ or anything.
Right.
It's just I would love to interview Stephanie Wyand. Like, give me something on working with the WWE in the weirdest year of all time.
Lawler's so fucking good.
Lots of people here are disappointed that there's no King Undertaker.
Lawler drafted by the same person.
Bret Hart not drafted by the same person.
Stephanie Wyand not drafted. Yeah, she could be a good interview when it comes to like just you know, got any fun stories? Yeah, we weren't there that long, but something might have happened.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, something sinister or whatever, but she might have been like, yeah, this is a fun story backstage where, you know, this one time, blah, blah, blah.
Talk to me about Todd Pettengill. Like, I'm sure you got some stories.
The ring announcer. Did you see him?
Yeah, he's just like, ugh.
Just like, this smells. Hamming it up. Even he's playing his part. Such a great theme.
My favorite.
One of my top favorites for sure.
I'm not a big fan of Bret in this gear. I like all pink. I'm a big fan of Bret when he's like in the entire pink getup, like he would be at Survivor Series against Diesel.
Nah, this is more my speed.
Yeah,
Black with the pink.
This is like traditional Bret gear, but it's definitely not my favorite. That's a mullet. Oh, I thought he was going for that kid. Poor kid.
I'm curious if there's anybody in the crowd here that I know.
Come on, Philly.
There's no way of knowing if there's anybody in the crowd at that time that's somebody who I would have come across or, you know, whatever. But could have been a couple friends of mine or something that could have been here. I don't recognize that kid at the very least, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like, you know, little Timmy whatever or something.
You think those kids still have those glasses?
I know if I were lucky enough to do that, I'd still have it.
It's like when Punk gave his shoes to that Clementine Cassidy. It was like, that kid's set for life. You could just sell on eBay.
I don't think he's going to be set for life from selling that, but he'll make a good chunk of change.
You get the right weirdo with the right either shoe fetish or foot, you know, like you get the right weirdo, you might be set for life.
I think you can make more selling shoes that somebody like Penelope Ford wears, you know?
But that's another batch of weirdos altogether.
Yeah, those are the bathwater types and all. Fucking weird. Don't be one of those people. People, like, just don't.
Would you like... Dude, it's fucking weird. It's like...
Never understood the foot thing either.
Rhea Ripley just did an interview where she's like, well, a lot of the weird things they ask for I can't say, but there are people that always ask for pictures of my armpits, and it's like, what?
Fucking weird. Stop being weird, people. Armpits. What?
Whose pyro is that for?
Where was it?
They're set up on all the corner posts.
Diesel, maybe?
Yeah, it's gotta be Nash.
When he puts his hand up?
Either
Sid
Diesel or
doesn't
Bam
have
Bam.
that.
Because I know Bam Bam's got some kind of fire.
I don't think Bam Bam had like corner post fire. I think it's probably Diesel.
That's crazy. It's just been sitting there all night. It could easily get fucked up accidentally.
That's true. And Sid, if anything, Sid's got like the letters, right?
Not yet. He wouldn't get that until he was champion next year.
Psycho Sid.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Psycho Sid is part of our draft.
He is? Quite a lot of people on this show are part of our draft.
It's true. Vast majority. But then again, if you look at them, how many of them are Hall of Famers and such? You got 2 Hall of Famers right here.
Two pile drivers. Imagine Jerry just wins.
Yeah.
Look at Vladimir. Vladimir's getting into it. Straw Hat Guy's getting into it. He's getting ready to push him off. Or not. Like, Brett should be dead at this point.
Nope. I can't believe it. He can't either. And neither can I.
That's true. Bret Hart had the perfect, like, I'm playing possum and I'm going to get up and kick your ass.
Or catch you with like some kind of a roll up in the middle of nowhere kind of deal. Bret knew what he was doing. Good things are good. You know?
Bret's one of the best wrestlers ever.
Much more than a 4 out of 10.
Oh, that looks so repulsive, but it's probably just like crayon or something. Like,
yeah, markers.
Like, look at the care and the dedication.
And why is it if you hit him with your boot, it's worse than if you would have kicked him? You know?
Well, because you get the perfect shot with the flat of the boot. Lace your boot, Lawler.
Nah, you gotta get the stink.
Lawler's got like a weird mullet during this time frame.
Yeah, he's better off without the mullet.
He's doing like a Roger Moore View to Kill, you know, where it's like, I have longer hair, I'm young.
I'm not old, I've got long hair. You know?
I wish they all could be California.
I like that after watching all these Bond films, they've become part of your go-to reference things.
Well, yeah, I guess I did when I saw No Time to Die. I was like, I wouldn't have cared like earlier this year, and now I'm like, I can't stop thinking about this movie. Stupid movie. Boy, they are really milking. Like, again, this is one of those matches where they are working.
They're stretching it as all hell, too. This could have been over a couple minutes ago.
So what in your mind is like the best of all time? Like, what factors do you take into account?
Like for superstars?
Yeah.
I think you need to be able to work just like psychology. Like, I want to be able to watch a match and have you tell a story and me be invested in more than just if you're doing a crazy move. But you need to be athletic as hell, too. So obviously,
also drafted by
yeah.
one of us. This is insane. It's King of the Ring 95, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Why are all these people on our cards?
I think you need to be both athletic and you need to be able to tell a story. I think you need to be able to cut a promo. Ideally, you need to be able to be both heel and face. You need to have a good look, and you need to have an interesting character. Hence why two of my favorites are Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, because both were able to play heel and face, both can talk, both can be interesting characters, both can work on the ring, both tell stories.
For me, the best of all time comes down to, obviously your work in the ring means something, but the character and whether that character stands the test of time. So for me, Bret Hart is like better than Hulk Hogan because I think Bret stands the test of time and he's a better worker.
Yeah, I rank Bret higher than Hulk Hogan for sure. But
I'd also say like Undertaker is better than all of them because he is a link to all the eras.
In the same regard, though, when people talk like, well, who are the biggest names? It's like, okay, well, Hulk Hogan's a bigger name than Bret Hart.
Yeah.
It's like, definitively it is. I hate that. Bret Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart. So much better. And then eventually in the Attitude Era, it goes from kiss my foot to kiss my ass.
Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart.
Those are the lyrics. From the ring announcer. Can't even say his name. What's the name of that guy again?
Shinja.
Shinjo, no.
Shinja not drafted, but the three of these other men are.
And he's eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Make him kiss more than your foot, Bret. No, that's a working foot.
Oh, God. You notice, like, King was sure to, like, okay, get one good shot in there, And actually, I might start gagging. Oh,
King knows what he's doing.
not done yet.
Nah, you got to make it even better. Got to make him
This
kiss
is
his own
great.
foot. It's perfect.
You know for a fact that King was like, look, my foot can go up there.
That's the best way to do it, too, because you set up that foot's, like, way grosser. Vince is loving it. He's gagging. He's gonna puke. Agony of defeat.
People chanting one more time.
That woman in the crowd was just kind of like, yeah, fuck you, Lawler, you know? That's what you fucking get. What? The fuck are you talking about chicken for?
Considering all the things that they've cut from this show, I'm surprised that like a dated thing
About the
by the
Special
release
Olympics?
of this would still be featured.
Maybe because it's more the humanitarian stuff, and it's like, see, we've always been doing these things. And there's nothing offensive about it, you know, like whatever they might have cut with like Shawn Michaels. Like,
that belt is gorgeous, by the way. Rest in peace, Reggie Parks.
that ugly ass crown. Robe looks good, you know.
Yeah. You think that was a Burger King crown that they've bedazzled?
Yeah, they just put spray paint. Two years ago, they were doing the whole Burger King chant. Speaking of 2 years ago. He's not the first ever King of the Ring, but okay.
They vary back and forth by whether or not they want to acknowledge the other King of the Ring.
Such a good nickname, the King of Hearts.
I would like Maddie to be the Queen of Hearts. She's a heel again, by the way.
Yeah, they were heel.
No, they weren't.
Mm-hmm. Maddie and Tamina turned heel eventually.
When did that happen?
2 months ago, something.
Because I was watching clips from a house show, and Natty's full heel, and like, when that happened?
Yeah, they were baby faces with the whole Nia and Shayna thing, and then they turned heel again because they don't know what to do with them. But I'm hoping that Natty wins. I want Natty to be the Queen of Hearts and get that crown.
I think I'm just convinced it's Carmella, but I'd gladly be wrong.
Well, didn't Fightful report that Carmella was supposed to win that match? Or Carmella was supposed to lose that match?
Yeah.
So if Morgan was supposed to do that, then Carmella wasn't the original plan. Doesn't mean that they didn't change it to give it to her. Yet. But I'm rooting for Natty. We'll find out a little bit more of that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw.
Do they get to sit down during this?
I was just thinking, like, do the Hardys have to sit there, stand the entire time? Just are they still in the back? No. So they must come out right before that.
Are you sure?
I don't think that they were in the background after they just had opened up the doors. Lot of beef in the ring.
This is easily the weakest King of the Ring lineup ever. Like,
full lineup, I wouldn't think that
well,
would be too
not
bad.
the full
You
lineup,
got
but the finals.
the finals, yeah. I mean, without a
Easily the
doubt.
weakest finals.
Yeah,
Because, like, 96 was Austin and Jake, and even if they're Austin and Jake at different points in their career, it's still Austin and Jake.
Yeah, Jake is somebody who's been a legend at that point. Austin's the guy who's going to win, obviously.
97 is Hunter and Foley.
Mm-hmm. 94 is Owen and Razor.
98 is Shamrock and Rock. Even 99 is Billy Gunn and X-Pac.
Which is a little bit on the weaker side in some ways, but they are established characters and everything.
Rikishi, you could argue with a little bit on the weaker side, but the benefit of hindsight, not only was it weak then, but the benefit of hindsight has hurt this final so much.
Yeah, because neither of these win a singles championship.
It's like if the next year was Ahmed Johnson against, Leif Cassidy.
Yeah.
Like, you can make the argument, well, some of the newer tournaments have had weaker finals, like Corbin and I'm forgetting who Corbin, Gable, Chad Gable. Remember when he was Shorty G? Like, that was something they actually
terrible
fucking busted onto us. Shorty G. Like, you gotta admit, though, they knew what they were doing. They had planned ahead enough, at least, that they knew Mabel's gonna win, and Mabel's gonna be a big deal for the rest of the year.
At the very least, they had that idea, like we were talking about, of building up that he can beat Undertaker and he can go on and he can fight for the championship
and then he can immediately fight Undertaker again. Like, you're made for the rest of the year.
Big Mabel. Big Daddy V. What an awful name.
I think that, while it's an awful name, yes, that era is probably like the best hybrid of all of the different eras for him.
The Big Daddy V thing?
Yeah. He was way too big at that point.
Way too big Daddy V?
Yes. But he at least was a top. He could have been a top guy if he needed to be.
I think that pretty much the peak, realistically speaking, the peak that I would go with Mabel, Viscera, Big Daddy V would probably be a tag team champion. I don't think I ever really saw him as being somebody who could get like even like the Intercontinental title.
I think of a third tier champion, like depending on the era, either European or ECW or hardcore. I could see it. Again, a lot of great working on this card. Hey, I just got an email from DC Comics about an NFT.
That'll be a thing that doesn't age the right way. I don't believe that these NFTs are going to be like the wave of the future. If I'm dead wrong, I'm dead wrong, and I'll have no NFTs to show for it because I ain't fucking buying one. You know what I mean?
I think you'll be dead wrong.
I hope I'm not just for the fact of like, I told you so, but I just think it's so dumb. I hope that the human race doesn't keep going down in this directions that we've been heading. I bought the rights to this GIF or whatever. That slap. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That's so good. You're gonna keep interrupting me? Sorry. Well, I was saying or whatever.
They did it again.
I wonder if that was a flex from Vince. Of like, you're gonna call out your fucking boss here, I'm gonna interrupt you again, and then be like, go ahead, continue.
I'm gonna say something and people are gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But no matter what, guys like Savio and Mabel had a better chance to succeed than a guy like Kofi or a Jinder. Because like Vince is so hands-on with everything at this point.
You mean like during this era, like if Vince likes you, he's gonna push you?
Like, yeah, you just have a better chance to succeed. Vince is out there calling the matches.
He's trying to get you over exactly how he wants you to get over.
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
He's telling the story exactly as he wants it told. You have so much better insight. There's the
ECW champ. Is that just because they're annoyed at the
I think they're just annoyed at Mabel, yeah.
And ECW doesn't seem like it's going to be as big of a deal until a little bit after this, if I got my timeline right,
This is right about where like ECW is
starting to catch on.
Its peak. Yeah. Because they've got Foley at this point. They've got like, Raven Dudleys is still there. The Dudleys are coming in. They're not like Bubba and Devon. They're like the whole family. Oh shit. Oh, I thought that was it. That's a 3 count.
Should have been the other one.
God, that was such a lackluster announcement. The winner of this match and King of the Ring, Mabel.
You know what's funny is you can really start telling some patterns with Jim Johnston. Listen to the beat here. Brooke is the man, and it's very, they tweak it and they start getting Nation of Domination.
We are the nation coming live and in color.
It's exactly that, like,
huh.
Obviously, it's not exactly the theme, like when you get like
it down. But he's got like the bare bones of the composition together.
Yep. And it's like, what did he do with Razor? He did the same thing with Austin. It's literally the same kind of song, except for he just tweaked it. You got Taz and Roman.
That's really interesting. Oh, by the way, this is setting up a tag match at next month in your house between Men on a Mission and Razor and Savio.
Which Man on a Mission probably win, right?
Yeah, because that's where Mabel gets his pin on Razor. I think he was supposed to splash him. Hurt the ribs, but okay.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do the elbow drop from that, yeah.
Oh shit, it's a 1, 2, 3 kid.
Oh, I thought it was plug wire. So if you had to pick X-Pac or 1, 2, 3 Kid?
I'm picking 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Yeah.
Specifically this era. Like, not like he first comes in with the lightning bolts and stuff. I'm picking like he's got his gear figured out, but it's 1, 2, 3 Kid. Pac, get up. Like, he barely touched you.
Mm-hmm. Why does Neville go by Pac?
I think he had said one time, like when he was a kid, his dad was like, "Oh, look at those abs. You've got a 6-pack." And he was just like, "I'm going to call myself Pac."
Huh. So that's the case. Then it's 6-pack in WCW becomes X-Pac. But so you got 2 people that are named after that?
But I think he did Pac because Tupac. And he wanted to be 6-pack because he's 1, 2, 3. And 1 + 2 + 3 = 6.
Steiner needs to explain it. Or the math.
Smooth Joe.
I kind of liked Mabel's King of the Ring theme. Not this one, but the one that they would like. Yeah.
And then you hit the sirens.
He did it the hard way. Sword instead of a scepter.
They don't he's gonna knight him Sermo.
The robe's got that weird little tendril thing sticking out. That's strange.
That's because they didn't fix it. Long.
Some people throwing some trash.
Yeah, do you blame them? Is Shane holding the camera?
Shane?
Yeah.
Shane McMahon?
Look at the camera, man, if you can.
There's more trash. See if they show him. It's Philly, so only a couple pieces of trash. I'm surprised.
Look at the empty chairs.
Yeah. That guy's risking something. There's a Dallas Cowboys t-shirt in the background. You don't wear that in Philly. Ha! Right in the head.
You can't. I love that. I love that. Vince is like, go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. You think they have that sword in the WWE
Why is he
warehouse?
dragging his ass? Oh well, maybe.
Yeah, he's really fucking taking his time.
Okay.
Every word dragged out as long as you possibly can. Oh my god, Mo. He's like, I never get a chance to talk.
Yeah, that
Let me
must be what
milk
it
it.
is.
Setting up the pyros, yeah.
Yeah, they got Bam Bams in the ring now.
That crown's probably sharp as all hell. Probably sharper than the sword.
Oh shit, Savio just.
Music needs a little low end to it.
God, they dragged that out.
Mm.
He won the match like 10 minutes ago.
You gotta show him dry heaving. Nice. We're just throwing up. Shooting the toothpaste in his mouth.
Oh, that's gross, but this is so good. Oh, okay, that's really gross. Please.
I wonder what like soup they used for that.
That was the Diet Pepsi that was sitting in his locker room, I bet.
So I would think some kind of like chunky
You
like
should have gotten some like
vegetable
chunky
soup.
Campbell's soup or some shit.
Yeah. This haircut, man.
I think Linda still has that haircut.
Look at Sid. Did he crush to it? Here comes the crush.
Crush also drafted. You know what's insane? I think everybody on this card was drafted except Tatanka.
Maybe not everybody. I think there's been one or two people maybe.
Who?
Let me double check again.
Like we saw King Kong Bundy in a recap. He wasn't.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of those kind of people because yeah, like Adam Bomb wasn't. I
But
mean,
like everybody on this card was drafted except Tatanka.
Mo wasn't.
Well, that's okay. We know that Mo comes with Mabel.
DiBiase is so good. I didn't like heel Tatanka.
Yeah.
Like, if I think Tatanka, I think pure
babyface.
babyface, wearing the whole headdress, doing the chop. He's one of the most active people I've seen on LinkedIn, too.
Tatanka?
Mm-hmm. He's always posting about, like, here's like a picture of his kid doing something or whatever.
That's like the weirdest thing I could have ever imagined.
Recently, he posted something about, like, some old action figure of his or whatever.
I like the Psycho music.
Yeah, always like this theme. How low rent too with the pyro. It's literally,
it just looks like literal, yeah.
It's just little firecrackers that are duct taped with blue tape.
Isn't that weird?
Sid's idea of making an entrance is to look like he's bored as all fuck.
Tell me you wouldn't want to see this man on an all-time card. Tell me you would want. He's the man. I love Sid.
Who's man? God.
Shoo.
And he is so, like, you could tell exactly where he's from,
I'm from Jersey and we're gonna.
Yeah. Like, he knows that it's pork roll and not Taylor ham. Yeah. Guaranteed, he says water. Like, I'm going to have some water to drink. The only reason I don't say water anymore is I've trained myself not to. Every so often, it'll slip out, and I'll be just like, oh, can you give me some water? Fuck, water. Ah.
Yeah.
Always like this gear.
Bum, 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 bum.
The hot chicks in the crowd digging Bam Bam.
We ain't too far from Jersey and Philly.
Still, though, I mean, like, that's the first time they showed, like, the good-looking women like that. And they're fucking digging that. Not even Shawn Michaels did they show that. They just had a couple shots of people, taking some pictures and whatever, but those are, like...
Bum, 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 bum.
Always like Diesel's theme, too.
Wah.
It was awful when it was just the truck.
Yeah, that's one of the worst theme songs I've ever heard. It's very Roseanne inspired, this theme, though.
Yeah. It's very Roseanne. Da 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 da.
Womp womp.
Da 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 da. Diesel, the #1 WWF champion. For King of the Ring, you should not have a tag team main event.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Like, this should have just been Diesel against Sid. My booking philosophy, if these are special events, they should always be special. They shouldn't be the types of things you should get on Monday Night Raw. It never, ever, ever, ever should be that case. A tag team match on a pay-per-view should be either for the tag team titles, it should be filler mid-card stuff that has a good enough feud to justify being on the card, or it should be such a featured attraction like, John Cena and The Rock against Awesome Truth. But you don't do something like, I don't want a pay-per-view being, Big E and Drew McIntyre against Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley,
Well, yeah, but we've seen that happen too,
Yeah, I think that it's wrong. I don't justify it. If I had creative control over WWE, you would never see that on a pay-per-view.
It's a good idea.
Hence why when we get into our mock draft and our fantasy bookings and all that, we haven't recorded it yet, but when we get into our ultimate cards, I can guarantee you will not be hearing any arguments from me about total filler tag team matches. It's going to have to be some kind of a gimmick to it, some kind of a reason for it.
But what if it was like a barbed wire tag team death match?
Yeah, then that's cool. That's just a regular tag team. Tatanka never really should have been a part of the Money Incorporated.
Yes, he should have.
Or the $1 Million
think about it.
Corporation or anything.
The idea was Lex Luger sold out, but then they played off that terrible stereotype about the Native Americans and the casinos and that's the way I always took it, at least.
Did they ever have any kind of a promo where he would have said something like, I've used the money that Ted DiBiase gave me to start a casino?
They should have.
If they really should have.
Bam Bam gets 2 main events. Bam Bam was a big deal in 95. Also not around in 96.
I don't like babyface Bam Bam as much.
Oh no, he's a heel. He's a heel and he's a big nasty bastard.
Yeah, so it's babyface Tatanka, heel Bam Bam, heel Sid,
probably babyface Nash.
tweener Nash in my mind.
Well, because Nash is just Nash. He's one of the first he just is who he is.
Yeah, I like Nash / Diesel, where it's like he could fight anybody at any moment because he could be like, he starts a little bit of beef with someone like a Brad or an Undertaker, but at the same time, he could be the guy that's like backing up Shawn against Owen and Bulldog, that kind of deal.
Again, ahead of his time.
Not the best worker, but one of the best influential types of guys. He really should, I'd like to see Kevin Nash in some kind of creative capacity now that he's not wrestling. Because I know some people would be like, oh, when he was Booker in WCW, like he led the whatever and all this guy. But like he's not wrestling anymore. What can he do as somebody who's just like a sounding board? We missed out on an opportunity to have the Click running things a little bit better.
It seemed like that's where they were going for a while.
Yeah. And now we have NXT 2.0.
Yeah, that's awful. Is this what you would do with Ted? Like, do you like Million Dollar Corporation, Ted?
Yeah, I like I like Ted on his own, but Ted DiBiase to me is $1 million man. He can hire people to be alongside him. He can do that kind of thing. I never think of Ted DiBiase. I'll put it this way. I never think of Ted DiBiase prior to Andre trying to hand him the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that point onward for Ted for me. So, if push comes to shove, if you can't find too much of a spot for Ted, my go-to is always like, all right, then Ted goes into some sort of a tag team thing where he's got a bunch of people that he hired to be around him. Bam Bam is one of those guys that we missed out on some really good Bam Bam matches. Imagine Bam Bam in a feud with Shawn Michaels for a little bit.
Right.
That would have been so good. Like Prime Shawn against Prime Bam Bam. That could have been one of those like sleeper best matches of the year type of categories. Tatanka Tatanka's a different story. He's one of those cats that like.
My God, Tony, I have joined. This is history, folks. I have joined the ranks of those collecting NFTs as DC has given me a free one. Hopefully one day it's just worth all this money and I never have to even think about it.
What'd you get?
They haven't told me yet. It's either going to be a Wonder Woman, a Batman, a Green Lantern, a Superman, or a Harley Quinn. And they look like floppy disk edits. That's interesting.
Wonder
I
Woman.
hope it's Batman. Wonder Woman.
Bam Bam Bigelow, male gigolo.
I always say that. Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo, is one of those movies that is very of its time.
For better or worse. It's not a good movie.
Is anything Rob Schneider does good?
He's good in like bit parts. Like Rob Schneider, I like Rob Schneider. I don't like any Rob Schneider movies. That's the weird thing about it. He himself, like I like him as the you can do it guy, or like
That's what do you think of Rob Schneider? You can do it, Dickie.
Actually, the thing I think more so than anybody is making copies.
Making copies.
The Stevester, the Steve Weiser, Steve Areno. That, or I think of hotel clerk from Home Alone 2.
Yeah, all I think of is if Rob Schneider's there, it means it's a Sandler movie.
Or that he's a carrot. Rob Schneider is a stapler. South Park was so good. So you give a title to Bam Bam, at some point in his career, whether it's Intercontinental or WWF Championship. Who do you think's the person that he, like, ideally, who would you book him to beat for either one of those? Like, would he be somebody who, like, what popped in my mind is, like, he could have been somebody that could have beaten Razor for the Intercontinental.
Yeah, but he would have had to be a heel. Maybe even DiBiase helps him with it.
And I think that he could have been somebody who could have beaten Hogan.
Yes. In another era, if that was like the era where, like, hey, you're actually going to lose the belt more often, yeah.
I would have definitely had Bigelow be a guy who beats Hogan.
That chick is just yelling psycho. She's excited.
Maybe that's the one that was all turned on by Bam Bam. Or maybe that's the Tatonket.
It could very well could be.
Coordination, that's the word you're going to go with. I thought he was going to say cohesion.
What's up, Buck? By the way, this is an outfit that Diesel does not wear. Like, that's how he almost never wears anything outside of, like, that silverish topper.
Yeah, I like the silver one better.
There's no way that they're gonna have him say that Diesel didn't. Okay, thank God. 'Cause I think that spot got fucked up, and they were supposed to be like, "Oh, the ref didn't see it," but he clearly did. So I'm glad that they didn't fuck that up. By the way, Diesel legit staph infection. He's like, I couldn't take time off. I was the top guy.
Get around it that way.
Only
fake
time
injuries are like they should use fake injuries more often when it comes to those things, you know?
Only time the top guy ever headlined the pay-per-view.
And it has to be in a tag team match, of course.
He would have headlined Star Series 93 against the Foreign Fanatics, Tony's favorite Star Series team, but he was taken out.
It was on the Foreign Fanatics for that.
That was Yoko, Crush, one of the Quebecers, I believe it was Jacques Rougeau. No, it was actually the other one. It was Pierre and Ludwig Borga.
Why is Crush on there?
Because it was supposed to be the other Quebecer, but Crush had to get on the card just to fuck with Randy Savage. So it was like, hey, he's teaming with Fuji, so he's a sympathizer.
Yeah.
And is Hawaii really?
Yeah, it's foreign because it's outside the continental United States. Meanwhile, we chant USA for Savio.
That was a weird one. That looked like it was supposed to be like a rock bottomy type move.
It was really a shooting star press, but they just really botched it.
You know, I got to tell you, we've watched some interesting cards, and they've flown by.
Fun errors, even though they're flawed.
They represent such a unique time now that it's like, I don't care that it's flawed. That's part of what makes it special.
When's the last time we saw a double clothesline spot?
A long time. Maybe it was one of the Edge Randy Orton matches. I can see that happening.
Yeah, you know, it might have been the Backlash one or something.
Because nobody does that anymore.
Maybe we get it with Big E and Drew McIntyre.
They'll do a version of it. They'll be like 2 crossbodies or something.
Look at the dude in the background with the white hat and the sunglasses.
Yeah, he's got kind of a Brother Love gear on. If he stands
A little
up, I'll
bit.
point it out.
I love you. No Brother Love on the show. I didn't see Pritchard in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't see him either. I was looking for him. That was cool.
Bam Bam doing an NCURI. You know, when they got into the minis and they did like Mini Vader, Mini Mankind, and all that, I'm surprised they didn't do Bam Bam Small or Low.
I hate you.
He could have seen to a Small Daddy Cool. Now I'm just thinking of all of them. Now I'm thinking Big E's got a tag team partner, is Small E, or it's lowercase e. What do you like better? Sitton's Powerbomb, Kevin Nash's Jackknife?
Nash. It depends on who's taking it, but Nash overall.
Since it's just sort of this frivolous, you're going to land wherever you're going to land kind of deal.
Lots of throwing trash at people.
Yeah, that's Philly.
Diesel just pins him with an elbow drop? No. All right, then.
You figure this is the town where they greased up the poles because they're like, if they win or lose, people are going to take these street lights down and whatever. And people are like, you grease those poles? We're taking them fucking down anyway.
Very flat ending.
Yeah. They've shown that girl a couple times. Person got the horn right on the high five. Just high five.
He went gray early because, like, you can already see that he's going gray here.
In the beard
and in the hair. There's the pyro. They loved that pyro back in those days.
Yeah, I liked that pyro. That's King of the Ring 1995. They're switching us over with the up next thing. They're just going straight into that.
Okay, all right. That wasn't bad, Tony. That was like, it's not top 10 card of all time.
Yeah, by no means, but it's like it was a fun thing to revisit and watch, and go back and
like. I'll say this: it's a card that I had to watch with you. I couldn't have watched that one. Like, that's not a Callum card.
That's true.
Like, laughing about how many of these people ended up on our fantasy teams alone is hysterical.
And you will be able to hear those episodes of the mock draft for the all-time roster coming up in a couple weeks. The first episode is going to air on the 3rd of November, I think, if I remember correctly, when I have that scheduled. You can see it right now as like a premiere type of thing. You can't click on it and watch it, but you see that it's already posted and you can set your reminders. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you like and follow and share and favorite and follow on Facebook and Twitter and all that other kind of stuff. And I always say that all that stuff is at Smark Out Moment. The Fanboys Anonymous stuff is over on fanboysanonymous.com. I am at Tony Mango. Rob is at Dude Felice.
I am fun, exciting news. I got the Batman floppy disk NFT. That's cool. I have no idea what that means, but it's cool. And if you want to hear more of that, check out Fanboys Anonymous. We just recorded an Injustice watch along podcast. And yeah, I'd want to do more of that stuff. If you want more wrestling, because why wouldn't you? Check out Fightful.com. Sean Ross Tapp has a ton of great information, always flowing. And yeah, that's it for me. Follow me at Dude Felice, and I'll see you on the next one.
Next one you guys are going to be hearing from us is going to be probably the hot tags. Funny enough, since this is the main event for the week, even though we're doing it on Sunday already. But we've got that. We've got some Darkcast material stuff. We've got the other stuff that we recorded in advance. And then we're going to get in the Crown Jewel next week and talk about our predictions and eventually do the post show afterward on Thursday. This is the first
time that Tony has to talk about a Brock Lesnar match in a year and a half. It's exciting.
Yeah. And I'm not going to Brock Lesnar rule it.
Because it's exciting, because it's different.
Not so much different, but they did something different to it to make it more interesting.
The entire build to this has been different, you can't say.
I mean, the match itself is probably going to be like very similar to what we've seen before, but at least the build is different. So it's like, hey, look at that. I'm more interested in it when it's not just literally copy and paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste.
My client, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So we got that coming up, and vote on the Champsgiving tournament while you can for King of the Ring. Mabel's already been disqualified from the tournament in the qualifying round.
By the way, Mabel, after watching 2 Mabel matches, I think we're good, right?
Yeah. Can't imagine this is going to be a reason to rewatch any kind of more Mabel content.
On this platform, there's a dark cast of us watching In Your House 5, so we watched Mabel, Undertaker, and a casket match. We watched quite a lot of Mabel. I don't think we need to watch any more Mabel.
I think we're good on Mabel. But if you don't think so, if you want us to do more Mabel stuff, pick your poison. That's what it's for. Check out all the other things that are happening, though, and we will see you next time, everybody. But for now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.